I'm Austin,
And I'm Ben.
and this is the Austin Ben Show.
And on today's episode, we're going to be starting a new series called Chain Reaction.
And chain reaction is when one person starts out with a topic, and then that person hands off the metaphorically real ball to the other person, and they continue on with the topic.
Okay, so one day, this guy was sitting in his room, and he's just woken up, and he turns on the TV, and he sees this ad for, visiting Paris, and, those tourist commercials.
So, he's been down on his luck lately, and he decides to go to Paris. So, he buys a ticket online after reading about this new tunnel from America to Paris. And he goes to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, boards the train, he bought the ticket to board the train.
So, he goes up to this train, and it's, one of those super futuristic-looking trains, like the bullet trains, the sleek glass, sleek windows, it's, fancy. Then he gets inside, it's just, horrible. Vandalized, drugs everywhere, people are like, yo, man, what up? And then, people are, shooting up heroin on this train, it's, horrible.
But then he moves up to the first-class seat that he paid $5 more for. So, for some reason on this train, $5 separates all those people from a really nice section. So he goes into the first class section, there's free Wi-Fi, there you go, there's nice leather couches, not just seats, couches, and each individual, group of 4 people has a section in the train, and there's a nice flat screen TV, there's a computer, there's free Wi-Fi, as I already said, there's free Ethernet cables coming out with Wi-Fi, internet through them. And it's just this really nice area in this train. And there's different sections. They're all soundproofed. And there's doors for each one of them. For every single group of 4 people on this train.
So he's starting to board on. And then he doesn't know anybody. And, of course, there are only these sections of 4. So you kind of have to get to know people. So he gets in this place. And, super wealthy people, just rich out the wazoo. Just, crazy wealthy. Then they're like, oh ho ho, we have another visitor to Paris, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of down my luck and whatnot. So then he looks out the window, most beautiful view of Pittsburgh, and then, in Coach, it's just, crappy. Somehow they get a crappy view back there. And so then, he meets these people, and he sits down, and they're talking, then the train starts going under the Atlantic Ocean.
The reason that Coach has such a worse view is because that's on the bottom level of the train, which doesn't see anything because there's fencing on the side of the train, while first class is 400 feet above coach class, and there is no in-between. There's just holes and there's tubes for elevators to go up to first class, and there's nothing. So it's just a layer of coach, and then tubes, and then first class 400 feet above it.
Yeah, so somehow this train is 400 plus feet tall, and there's no in between. It's either you have the $5 extra or you don't. It's just what happens, I guess, on this train. So the tunnels are really tall, extraordinarily tall. They didn't have to spend this much money on this train. There's no reason to have the 400-foot difference between coach and first class. Sorry, the view. They couldn't cut down those fences. That probably would have been a lot cheaper. So anyway, so they're going towards this tunnel.
Can't do it.
The tunnel's
not worth it.
Not worth it.
It's not.
The tunnel's 600 feet
tall.
tall.
Not economically efficient.
Mind you, 600 feet is somewhere 50 stories, something crazy. Actually, it's probably not, but whatever. So then.
Do you know how much is in a story?
20 feet.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so.
What did we say the train is? 600 feet.
600 feet tall. 5 times 6, 30. 30 stories.
30 stories.
So this is a ridiculously tall tunnel. So the train's, it's going full speed, and of course the engineers didn't think to make the middle part sleek. It's really obtuse and round, not round, rectangular. So it's not aerodynamic at all. So this thing goes through way too much gas than it really should, just to add on to the expensiveness of taking this train.
But luckily that $5 that each person had paid to go up to first class pays for everything. So they're going through this tunnel, and the tunnel is 600 feet tall and only about 20 feet wide. So, and somehow
quite the difference.
Yeah, somehow the train doesn't roll over ever.
Just fall off the tracks.
Well, actually, it's a straight shot to Paris.
No curves.
That's why curves. Yeah, that's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite the exquisite train.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, that's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah.
No curves. Because that helps. Anyway, so he's going on the train.
Even if there are things in the way, they just, like, if there's an undersea mountain, they just kind of, like, blow it up rather than go, like, whoop, go around it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because it's easier.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper, yeah. It's cheaper just to
somehow
buy it.
it's cheap just to buy it. Just to buy this mountain, and then...
Yeah.
Didn't know you bought underseas mountains.
Yeah, you
just go up to an underseas mountain.
Who owns them?
There's, like, a little flag on it that just says, Ben.
In all seriousness, now, who owns mountains?
I don't think any...
Undersea mountains. Undersea mountains.
I don't think anybody owns, like, the oceans.
Is it just, like, international? Like,
yeah, it's
like
international waters. I think
owns...
so. Yeah, like, you can't just, like, say, alright, this square mile of ocean, it's mine.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Should be able to do that. Actually, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
That would be awful to, like, be able to mark off. But then they
yeah,
probably
if you wanted to boat somewhere, you'd be like to get there, because, like, you'd have to go, like, around people's, like, private property. Private property of ocean.
Yeah. They'd have to do something where you'd have to pay... You pay to get your own land. You can do whatever you want. Or, not land. You pay to get your own water and the land under it. But people can pass through it if there's room
so
to.
What's the point of...
No,
owning this water?
Like you can build whatever you want on there and keep it there.
Okay.
Like you can have like a massive oil rig, but you have to leave somewhere to
Do you think those overseas? Do you think those like offshore oil rigs, like, do they have to pay to be there?
Probably.
But like,
what do they pay though?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, back to this guy in the train speeding to Paris.
He's in the train speeding to Paris, and by speeding I mean 20 miles an hour.
Because the train goes any faster, it'll, like, even, like, this narrow tunnel, it'll still fall over because it's so tall.
Yeah.
Because if the tunnel is 20 feet wide, then you gotta figure, like, there gotta be, like, access paths along the side and whatnot.
No.
Oh.
No, that was too expensive.
Oh, right. They couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, straight. So if something goes wrong with this tunnel, that's too bad because they're not fixing it. They're just gonna build another tunnel right alongside this one, and that's how they're gonna go. Yeah, it's cheaper than fixing it, of course. So, wait, why does this... So, really, this train...
He was supposed to have the ball the whole time.
Yeah. Whatever.
We got on a tangent, sorry.
Yeah. So, this train's going 20 miles an hour all the way across the Atlantic at the Paris. And this guy's like, wow, like, this feels like a long time. Which it is, because, 20 miles, like, even 20 miles in a car feels really slow.
It's like 20 miles per hour, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, 20 miles an hour.
You said 20 miles.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like going to California from, like... Massachusetts at 20 miles an hour.
I feel like it's farther than that.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know.
I think the Atlantic Ocean is like 10,000 miles across. Alright, so let's figure 12,000 miles at 20 miles per hour.
It'd take a lot of hours.
Yeah.
It would just
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. What, 600 hours?
600 hours, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
600 divided by 24 is something that I don't want to do right now.
A lot of days. Anyway, so this guy, he's like shooting across the Atlantic Ocean on his way to his destination, and then they finally reach Paris. Days. There's no food on this train either because that's too expensive. So they're starving, thirsty. They stumble out of the train once they get to Paris.
You have to fight for yourself.
Fight for yourself for what? Food?
First class has food. Coach does not.
Gourmet food.
They have to fight for themselves.
So that's why there's a 400-foot difference. So the 400-foot difference is so the starving coach people can't reach the food on the first class floor. It's like the train's speeding 20 miles an hour, speeding. And the coach people are like climbing up the tubes like this. They're like, wah, wah, like trying to reach the food in first class. And then but it's 400 feet. And nobody can do that for 400 feet. It's like they all keep falling. And really they just end up regretting this entire trip. And I think they'd actually die of thirst before they really could climb the tubes for food. Because of course they just don't get in the elevator and go up. They have to climb the tube.
The elevator's locked.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just can't open up this elevator.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they got outside either. But, beside the point. Actually, no, it's not. This is all point. This is all a point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of points.
$5
Kinda like
buys
this ball.
$5 buys you
Ball
food.
has points all over it.
So for $5 you get food, and it's gourmet food. Like they do not cut any expenses on this food. Like like 5-star chefs, 24/7 cooking food. The water is the purest.
You have to pay for the food though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, the $5 doesn't buy you the food.
No.
Just first class.
Just
the availability of
just
food.
the free Wi-Fi, cable,
Yeah.
HD cable, all the channels.
They get these channels out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, there's a long retractable cable on either side. So,
Oh.
because they have to be able to take the French shows when they're going to the United States, and they have to be able to get the
So
American shows.
following
running.
this train is a little like tug thing, and it has a huge spool of cable wire on it. And like as this train goes, speeding along 20 miles an hour, it just lays out the cable as it keeps going, so they can get channels.
Yeah.
Just the first class people, not the coach.
Right.
Right.
And then on the front, it's like spooling it in while they're heading towards wherever they're heading.
Well, why would it spool it in?
Otherwise,
like, they're going
because
forward
you'd be
and it's
running
spooling
over.
out.
No, the back spools out.
No,
Like,
like
the
the
back-
cable hooks up to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And they're heading towards Paris. So they have one cable to Pittsburgh, and then they also have one cable to Paris.
Yeah. But I feel like Paris cable is different than,
Yeah, I know.
Pittsburgh cable.
That's why they have both cables.
so you can tune into different ones if you want.
Yeah, because like if you have
This
if you
is an
have
exquisite
French,
train.
if you have French passengers, they're gonna want to watch their French shows. If you have American passengers, they're gonna want to watch their American shows,
Too true.
like SpongeBob.
Yeah, so this guy finally gets to Paris. He gets off the train, well rested, fed, watered. Everybody in the coach
Watered?
is watered. Like his thirst is quenched.
Like people come around with water in cans, just pour it on them.
No, watered is in the sense that he's not dehydrated. Anyway, and then all the coach people, big surprise, they're dead. They couldn't survive the trip. That's what you get for not having
Big
extra
surprise.
Big surprise.
Big
Everybody,
surprise.
It's a huge conspiracy. The conspiracy happens every time this train finally embarks. And then everybody's like, oh my god, everybody's dead. So then the guy gets out.
It's a highly controversial train.
Yeah. Highly controversial train, but it was still allowed to be built. And it's
Yeah.
still allowed to run.
Yeah.
And since it goes through like the Atlantic Ocean, it's not like
Well,
regulated.
they're indestructible. Like
Oh, right.
they're legally indestructible because nobody owns the land or the water in between in the Atlantic Ocean, and nobody they don't know nobody can really attack them because they're not they're kind of Paris, but they're also kind of they're part French. They're also part American.
Huh. But isn't it like the same thing with airlines though? Like international airlines? Is there an international like
Yeah, this is an international train.
Huh.
So they're untouchable. They're legally untouchable.
Okay. So it lands in Paris. Big surprise, everybody's dead, but nobody gets arrested because it's legally untouchable. And every time they're charged with like the homicide of like 10,000 people. This train is really long, by the way. 10,000 people, and they get away with it every time. And every time people keep boarding this train and getting coach. And then, so the guy gets off at Paris, only to discover it's not the land of opportunity. So he gets back on and goes back to America.
After another 600 hours,
Mm-hmm.
total of 1,200 hours minus layover times.
Right.
He finally gets back to Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
and then goes back to his house, which is in
Pittsburgh. Wait, is Pittsburgh even on the shore?
no.
It just starts inland.
Yeah.
It's cheaper that
Pretty
way.
sure Pennsylvania is actually a landlocked country.
No, it's not. Wait.
I mean, yeah, it's not a country; it's a state.
Yeah, so, anyway, so he gets back to his house, and he's like, wow, that was quite the adventure. Yeah.
They start the business, and it fails.
Only to discover that America...
I just dropped the ball. I literally dropped the ball on that one, and then now
Wow.
he has it.
Yeah, so He gets back only to discover that America is a land of opportunity for only some people, and he is not one of them. So it fails. Takes up heroin just spontaneously, boards a coach section of this train, and kills himself via hunger and starvation, which are the same thing. I meant to say hunger and dehydration, but yeah. So now
Hunger
this
and
guy,
starvation and unwateredness and,
Yeah.
dehydration.
yeah, and he blew all of his life savings on this train trip because the tickets are like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's just if you
But
can
for some
afford
reason,
that,
it's only $5.
it's only
more.
an extra $5.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the movies and they're like, "Would you like to upgrade to a larger 50 cents?" And you're like, "Well, yeah, I'm already paying $8 for this soda. May as well." Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Poor guy. Feel bad for him. Our metaphorical. We didn't even give him a name. This guy. We just referred to him as Guy. Maybe that's that's
Guy
actually
is a name.
Yeah. Just realized that.
His
So
name
his
is
name is
Guy.
Guy.
No, his name is this guy.
Oh, this
Yeah.
and his last name is
No,
Guy.
no, but it's not spelled like this though. That's what makes it unique.
THYS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, and then it's like GUI. This guy.
Gooey. Yeah. Okay.
So, if you liked Chain Reaction, those few of you who are watching at this point, leave a comment and give us an idea of what you might want to see, if you have an idea, what you might want to see next time on Chain Reaction.
Like what you want us to start out with, because obviously
Yeah.
it spirals out of control.
So keep that in mind, but, give us a comment, and helps us out a lot, and subscribe if you like our videos. We'll have one new every week.
Alright, sounds good.
See you guys later.
See ya.